There is an ongoing rivalry between the pupils, who play classical European music, and those who play traditional Chinese music. In a posh private music school in China, traditional Chinese musicians are viewed as tacky by the classical music ensemble, and the classical orchestra members are viewed as pretentious by the Chinese band. The teachers have installed a metal barrier at the Chinese music department hall to prevent the students from mixing with their prized classical students, because their mutual dislike for one another is so pervasive in daily student life that the conflicts occasionally result in actual physical confrontations, due to the professors' increased focus on them, because they believe that classical music is a genre with a real future. The students who study it have an advantage. Thus, Chen Jing, a quirky young woman who plays the yangqin, and her close friend Li Yu, a percussionist, are the only two members of the Chinese music group left. The situation is made worse by Chen Jing's crush on Wang Wen, a classical pianist prodigy, who doesn't even know who she is. A group of classical musicians startles everyone one morning. When they approach the Chinese music students with an offer, Wang Wen needs a page-turner, because their band will be performing at a significant music hall this week. The Chinese music students don't want to interact with them, but Chen Jing takes the position, eager to be near her crush. However, just though she is assisting doesn't guarantee that she would be welcomed, and on the day of the event, they force her to sit with a violin, because the place was set aside for the instrument. Chen Jing has never been in a music hall before, so as she watches Wang Wen perform with hard eyes, Chen Jing fantasizes about performing there, and having Wang Wen watch her in return. Chen Jing admits that she likes Wang Wen, and shares information about her own music with him. After the show, however, Wang Wen dismisses her as a waste of time, and doesn't even know the name of her instrument. The following day at school, Chen Jing is so enraged that she turns it into productivity. In order to disprove Wang Wen, she will resurrect the Chinese music group, and get them to perform on stage. Chen Jing and Li Yu will unfortunately have to conduct all the labor-intensive work on their own, because the school refuses to offer resources for a project that they perceive as already being doomed. They begin by making flyers and posters to attract the younger kids, but the classical music students cover or scribble on their posters and ignore their flyers. When Li Yu suggests it, Chen Jing is about to give up. They could enlist the help of a group of 4 otaku females from room 502, who rarely contact with anybody outside of their dorm. This is how Chen Jing meets Bebe and Tata, a pair of gamers. Yingzi, a shy girl who won't talk to anyone, and only communicates via text messages, and Xiao Mai, the group leader, who immediately wants to expel Chen Jing from their hostel. Still determined, Chen Jing recalls Li Yu's counsel, and makes an offer to the girls to buy them an anime figure each week if they agree to join, which is quickly accepted. The trio explores potential band names during their first official meeting, but the girls reject all of Chen Jing's suggestions. As otakus see themselves, they suggest the moniker 2.5 dimension, to denote a fusion of the 2D and 3D worlds. Chen Jing is forced to agree, in order to keep the females around. Finding a suitable practice area is the next stage, but the teachers are once more unwilling to assist. The problem is eventually solved by Li Yu, who pays the security officer to let them use the practice room. After the classical music students have finished, they are given an hour after 9 o'clock at a time, when the school is meant to be closed and the teachers won't be present. After haggling about which music to play, they ultimately have their first practice as a group later that night. To their amazement, the guard shows up to spend the final 20 minutes of the hour with them, because part of his bargain included getting to sing briefly with the band. The following day, Chen Jing witnesses Yingzi being tormented by the classical music students and, along with Li Yu, steps in to defend her. After threatening to break the bully's violin bows, the bullies eventually apologize. After finally realizing that bullying is the cause of Yingzi's silence, Chen Jing is thanked for her assistance by Yingzi, who informs her that she is no longer required to be compensated with figurines. In her haste to investigate what's going on, Xiao Mai loses a ring accidentally, and when Li Yu discovers it, he immediately recognizes it as having been in the hands of a music streamer. It turns out that Xiao Mai goes by the Guizhang name Lightning Fingers online, and she has a respectable fan base, thanks to her prowess with the instrument. The other girls were already aware of this, and occasionally they even joined her on her streams. Li Yu and Chen Jing also want to play with her, but Xiao Mai declines Chen Jing's request, because Chen Jing is a very casual musician, in contrast to Li Yu and her pals, who have been hard at work studying for this, including the history of Chinese music, and the ancient dialects of the Chinese language. In contrast to Chen Jing, Li Yu is more knowledgeable about the topic, but Xiao Mai rejects him, since he isn't cute enough for their anime style. Chen Jing starts reading a lot of manga and hanging out with the girls in their adorable dorm, in an effort to build a stronger relationship with them. She also starts studying more traditional songs, but she isn't very good at singing them. At least their daily practices are enjoyable, and after a few days Xiao Mai finally acknowledges they are a respectable band now, and extends an invitation for them to perform with her at the following anime convention. The band will get to perform following a group of idols. When the time comes, old Chinese music doesn't appeal to the crowd, so they start to leave, leaving only a few of Xiao Mai's online supporters left. In order to assist, Liu chooses to remove his jacket and glasses, showcasing his charming side in the process. This attracts the attention of a few girls. The crowd returns to support the band, once they begin performing with exquisite ability and zeal, because they truly enjoy their music. After the performance, Chen Jing is surprised to be approached by enthusiastic teenagers, who are interested in learning more about her instrument. They post a video of their performance to Xiao Mai's channel, where it receives thousands of supportive comments from other kids, who start to believe they are more cool than they appear to be. After having her ego severely bruised and feeling motivated by all the romance manga she has been reading, Chen Jing thinks she must try again with Wang Wen, and gets ready to make a full confession of love. She appears outside the classical music building in the evening, carrying a heart made of candles and some flute music performed by a different Chinese music student. While the majority of the school is present, Chen Jing professes her love for Wang Wen as soon as he leaves. However, after disparaging her efforts and her music, Wang Wen rejects her once more, causing Chen Jing to sob. As a result, everyone in attendance starts arguing once more about the various musical genres. Wang Wen tries to put an end to the disagreement by extinguishing the candles, but he accidentally grabs turpentine instead of water and starts a fire. Fortunately, Liu reacts quickly and brings an extinguisher to put out the fire, before berating Wang Wen mercilessly, and making comments on the origins of the piano versus Chinese instruments using his knowledge of music history, and emphasizing that attempting to win over foreigners in order to encourage them to study abroad will ultimately fail. Liu's bravery inspires Chen Jing, who makes the remark that Wang Wen would one day regret disparaging Chinese music. As Wang Wen departs in humiliation, after handing everyone their figurines the following day, Chen Jing chooses to dissolve the band, believing she has nothing else to fight for. Now that Wang Wen has permanently rejected her, everyone seems unhappy about this choice, and Chen Jing is baffled as to why, given that they only joined for the toys and not out of genuine desire. Since the girls genuinely enjoy playing their instruments, they are perplexed, and when Chen Jing reveals that she only plays the yangqin because her mother forced her to, Xiao Mai accuses Chen Jing of being a traitor. The girls return Chen Jing the figurines back and then walk away in tears, since they realize that Chen Jing never actually appreciated what they were doing. Everyone departs for their summer homes a few days later. This is a really difficult moment for the otaku ladies, since their relatives reject and shame them for their preferences, due to his parents' desire for him to study overseas. Liu is confined to a summer program, while Chen Jing must put up with her mother, Mrs. Chen's constant playing of traditional Chinese music, which makes her feel bad about the band's debacle. Chen Jing informs her mother that she wants to stop learning yangqin, because she is sick of what feels like a lot of pressure, and Mrs. Chen just gives her the go-ahead. Chen Jing is shocked by this lack of response, and Mrs. Chen chuckles when she mentions that her father claimed her mother always wanted her to learn yangqin. Mrs. Chen requested Chinese music while giving birth, which led Chen Jing's father to believe that. However, Mrs. Chen doesn't care if Chen Jing isn't interested. However, she also believes that Chen Jing won't be able to give up the instrument, no matter how hard she tries, because the yangqin brought her to this realm, making their union inevitable. The remainder of the summer is spent by Chen Jing reflecting on this and getting back to know her instrument. The Education Bureau will host a youth performance, and the teachers want the classical music students to perform. It is revealed when classes resume. It has also been made clear that, beginning in the following academic year, their middle school will no longer accept new students. This enrages Xiao Mai, who interjects to support the Chinese music program and insists that she be given the opportunity to apply to play at the youth event. The other otaku girls and Liu join Chen Jing in declaring that they have a band when the teacher tells her that she needs one for it. Other Chinese music students are moved by the teacher's passion and volunteer to help, but the teacher declines, arguing that the school's reputation cannot depend on a hodgepodge group that hasn't rehearsed together like the classical music guys did. Another quarrel breaks out as the classical music students mock the Chinese music group for their naive hopes. After the teacher has left, it's Liu who ends the conversation with a challenge. They'll compete against one another in a music competition and let their abilities determine who is the greatest. Wang Wen accepts the challenge. Later, when a representative from the Ministry of Education arrives to examine the school, he is startled to see the gate at the Chinese music section. The instructors attempt to steer him towards the classical building and away from that area, but at this precise moment the bands decide to emerge and play with all their might. Both groups put a lot of effort into this, and it shows in their performances, which were praised by the official and the professors, who are acting like this is a stop on the tour. The official insists that the gate be taken down, after being affected by how the students brought together the East and the West through art and pointing out that there is no conflict in music. The teacher reprimands both groups for acting like children. during the inspection and for insisting that the classical music students will perform at the youth concert after the tour is over and the ministry representative has left. The Chinese music students, however, approach the classical music students and mention that their competition ended in a draw and that they have a solution to the problem of the upcoming concert. The now larger Chinese music group starts practicing as much as they can after that, but Xiaomai feels like their performance is still lacking a little something. A set of Biancong has been collecting dust in the school storage since the last band disbanded, and the guard overhears this and suggests a solution. The new band is welcome to take it. When the group is not rehearsing, they begin to hang out as actual friends, which makes Bebe and Tata recognize Liu likes Chen Jing, and teases him about it. When the concert day finally arrives, everything is set up and ready to go. While entering the venue for their concert, the classical music students hand over all of their passes to another student, who then transports them to the Chinese music band that is waiting outside. This enables them to enter the building undetected, and after the classical music band has finished playing, Chen Jing's group mounts the stage, feeling assured thanks to Wang Wen's assistance. Their brief performance begins with the guard singing a few verses, but soon they start to incorporate other aspects to keep the contemporary audience interested. Bebe and Tata play electric guitars, lights, and a hologram are provided by Xiaomai's online admirers, and the entire concert is streamed online. For the benefit of their family and teachers, their talents are evident on stage. They receive a standing ovation, and the otaku girls' parents are finally happy for them. Later that night, Liu brings Chen Jing to the river bank to see the fireflies she adores, with the intention of making a quick confession. Before sending Chen Jing the photos he has taken of her, he makes her look at her own heavily filtered and sticker-adorned social media posts. He does this to demonstrate that he sees the authentic, endearing Chen Jing that no one else does. Chen Jing instantly realizes that Liu is using this as a way to express his liking for her, and responds, he can take as many pictures as he wants in the future. A few weeks later, the band is happy to see that a Ministry of Education official has brought his daughter to enroll in the Chinese music program, and that a brand new class of first-year students is keen to uphold their nation's traditions. The end. If you like this story, please subscribe to the channel and like it, to motivate me to bring you more stories like this.